Weather today is nice. It's not so clouded this time. Nice blue skies. I don't see any trails today. Just a couple of fluffy clouds. Some nice blue sky and bright sun. Out there. Low wind. Very beautiful day. Right. So it is low wind. Very beautiful day. Right. So it is low wind. Beautiful sky. Low wind. Very beautiful day. Right. So it is Tuesday, the 14th of April, 2000. Had a pretty good night rest. Been watching some more movies. I'm going through the Star Wars series again. It's kind of a habit. Like every time my internet has a tendency to go down, well, in the time when I was completely cut off from the internet, I would just like start watching movies and then end up watching the Star Wars series, because I mean there's lots of them, and it's a good way to get by the time, like with something familiar, which I really appreciate, and there's always new things to spot about it for me. So, and it's a great little in-between movie, and Yeah, I'm just going through a step, like one move at a time. And in a way, I'm really kind of. Yeah, as for the news out there, it's not. Shouldn't be doing that even. And I'm worried. I'm worried for the Hungary people, because they had such a good thing going, and now there's just the threat of them getting overrun by hordes of immigrants that they're gonna let in, potentially. Maybe they won't, though. Who knows? Maybe even the liberal new government won't even be getting to that. But I mean, the fears are obviously there. And yeah, might have overreacted a little, but I mean, I was just really pissed off. It was really the thing that I didn't want to hear was happening. OBS seems to be kind of stable right now. That's cool. But yeah, there's more bad news. Or yeah, more weird shit. Don't know if I'm gonna get to it though. Come on. Yeah, this thing is just ridiculous. This Keir Starmer, British Prime Minister, involved in in Epstein scandals and shit and all kinds of things, and he's just making moves to bind Britain to EU rules, and he's not even he's just doing it like a commissar. And I don't know, like the entire British Parliament should be outraged over this. I mean, they're not part of the EU. They've gone through Brexit for a reason. So that's something I bumped into. It was kind of weird. Like the entire British be set to 0 for like 20 seconds straight. I thought it was gonna cut off, but God, it's distracting. Sorry about that. I really hope the internet's gonna be fixed tomorrow or the day after. I'm still gonna have to check. I really hope it's not gonna take longer. This is so... Sorry about that. I really hope the internet's gonna be fixed tomorrow or the day after. I'm still gonna have to check. I really hope it's not gonna take longer. This is so... Underneath all this trash that's been just piled onto us by these bureaucrats, making everything harder, making everything more expensive. Like, you need to actually be able to stand up for yourself, literally, energy wise, money wise, to even be able to like overthrow a government. And maybe, yeah, that is part of their strategy. It's neo-feudalism, right? Everybody's too poor and hungry. They'll just do whatever they're told. That's the entire concept around feudalism. And that is what they are trying to achieve. So every time everybody says, like, why aren't they standing up? All of us, like, how do you even do that? I don't know how to do it. I'm struggling with it myself. Right, anyway. EU just seems to be metastasizing more and more. And they're just not listening to anything, and they're lying, and they're just... Raisins, they would still, like, the open, pretend like they were the good guys. And that's the big difference with now this New World Order, this these commissars, these neo-feudalists are just flaunting their evil, like they're bragging with it continuously. And what the hell do you do about it when they're bragging with their own evils, basically, at this point? It's all being exposed, but I mean, remember 20 years ago when we all thought, if we just expose all of only that message could have been coming from the future, like, hey, you guys, remember how you were like driven forth by this idea that if we just expose it all, it will collapse? Well, it ain't working. I mean, maybe it's rather to motivate critical mass and then collapse. But there's just whole parts where it's getting exposed out in the open and then nothing happens. And that is really new. Like, well, it's not new right now because we're already getting used to that sort of shit. But that sort of thing didn't happen in the 20th century. It didn't happen like that at all. And now it is. But I mean, I wonder also why. Maybe it is because there is such an abundance of social media clutter and people that do things and try to draw in crowds. There's so much of it, like potentially millions of times more than there was 30 years ago. Millions of times more. That there is just that the effect of exposure just doesn't hit the home run, doesn't hit the bell. It doesn't get to everybody because they're just not listening. The less media channels everybody follows, the bigger the spreading effect will be when something posts. But when there's like millions of places that, like, you could go around social media your entire life now and like do it, let's say 60 years non-stop, every day trying to find what's out there. What is new? What is new? What is new? Who's trying something new? Who's this new person trying something? And just always doing that. And after 60 years, I think you probably wouldn't even... There would still be entire communities that have built up in that entire time that you were looking around that you never bump into. And then after 60 years, you still would have just not heard of 3/4 of everything that's out there. Everything. Even if you just dug around forever, continuously and very effectively. Yeah, unless you're gonna like use AI kind of like searching systems and oversight. And I think that this effect, that there's so much, is actually contributing to exposure of crimes in politics and all that is not having as much impact, with a few exceptions, right? Because I mean, the Epstein file release is a big exception, but that's because it was building up for so long. There was so much anticipation, and it was also well used by Trump. Basically as an election stunt, and that did really spread around. Like, that went everywhere. It really did become like the talk of, going to be very rare that you mention it with somebody and they would not know what you're talking about at all. That's very rare. But most things that happen, it's just like, yeah, people are just off to their own subject. Most of those subjects, like, do not even mention one single word about politics or whatsoever. Right? They might go like, oh, you have to wear this little armband for, I don't know, for sympathy of Palestine or cancer or whatever, man. AIDS ribbons, LGBTQ crap. But like actual political things that just happened, tons of people, they're just not receiving that information at all. Like, they literally do not know, and they're not used to even receiving such information. They're so off it. They're so outside of it. So that's kind of the weird thing that I've been thinking about. There's so much exposure now, but it disappears like a needle in a haystack. And I think that is actually the thing that they're using now. They're using an unexpected side effect of mass media. And because of the many options in social media, people choose to not dig into the darkness, dig into the bad things about the world and how corrupt politicians are. Because they just don't want to know about it. They don't want to hear it. It ruins their day. It makes them feel uncomfortable. And so they divert off to social media things that have nothing to do with it. And that is how I think they're all getting away with it. It might be that when something just goes right in the open and just like there's just almost no response. Right, but I think that there's like a different tactic though that people now use to actually get movements going. There's like organizing people that just go around and like network on a mass scale. And so they just find people and then they just like kind of rapidly push the stuff on them and like give them something to do. It's like, oh, you hate this? Sign this thing, and then you'll let them know that you hate it. And I think that kind of works in a way, and it's like I've been part of that sort of thing over the email. It's very simple. Take up a lot of time or money, which I don't have. I don't have money for that sort of thing. I wish I did. In the past, I would actually like support such causes because it's actually doing stuff. It's getting petitions together to make bad things stop and all that, and with some success for now. I just wonder, like, where is it all really going? Because with the mass media, it's just... it's enabling people to just not take responsibility. I'm gonna put that in the title. Right, so it's either that, or it's just a fatigue. It could be just fatigue to all the crap because of the amount. That could be it too. Because, like, the amount of exposure, it's like, oh, poison pills discovered, it's fucked up. Like, and then everybody's like, we're outraged. It's like, one death is a tragedy, 1,000,000 deaths are a statistic. And maybe that is it. Maybe one corruption exposure is like a drama, and like everybody's like, oh, we're not gonna accept this one. If we let this go, it'll get out of control, everybody will start doing it. Well, maybe it's like too much of it came out, and then it couldn't be prosecuted anymore, and the prosecutors are part of it, at the time at least. And now it's like it's too much of it, it's become a statistic. And then people don't get that natural drive to make it stop, because it's no longer an individual that's corrupted or been evil. We gotta make our moves with this specific case to set an example, and then everybody has that energy, like they're all gonna do. They're all very motivated to do it. It's like a relatively isolated instance, but because so much has come out of it, you don't gather the momentum where everybody just automatically, energetically falls in line with that effect, because there's too much of it. And then everybody kind of becomes demoralized and bogged down by it instead. Like, they want it to stop, it's just become too much. And everybody's just like desperately trying to figure out, like, what the hell do we even do with this? Like, how do you stop this now? And that is where I arrive with my very primitive approach of just like frickin' kill them all, which is stupid. Work. In reality, it would just completely collapse in on itself. Like, any group that would do that would quickly lose track of what's real. Yeah, that happens. Because people will spontaneously, being faced with it, turn hostile against him and just be absolutely obsessively convinced, like, these are the evil guys. This is what we've all been waiting for. And then they would, like, do that to the force that's actually trying to stop everything. And then that force would have to defend itself, and then by that basically become the baddies. Like, inevitably. And that's why it doesn't work. The only place, yeah, I mean, the only way that you can get out of it is by literally giving up on life and just saying, fuck it, I'm gonna kill as much of them as I can, right? But I mean, are you gonna be successful doing that though? Or is it just gonna be a wild attempt and then end up getting a lot of people that don't really deserve it hurt? Yeah? Are you gonna end up like those crazy school shooters? See, that's the problem. Like, once you get that, like, I'm done with everything, like, I'm just gonna make a dramatic move even if it gets me killed. Well, the people, and I wonder, is that even natural? Or are these people, like, being pushed, being manipulated to actually do that? Is there still some dormant waiting force inside of people that are frustrated about the world situation, like myself, that are actually like, no, we are really just kind of waiting until it's like their spiritual and they're just like robots in the machine of it all, and it's like completely out of their oversight, and they're just like basically doing as they're being programmed or as they're being commanded, and they don't even understand and don't even want to know anymore. Completely, like, because it does really seem like it's like that. A lot of people, like, with the clusterfuck deal with in life, the bureaucracies, the financial things, and then they have, like, as a luxury, their internal world, where they still have some, like, noble ideas and things that they want, but they just then don't. Their life doesn't just completely fall apart, integrate in a very short time span. Yeah. So yeah, I do actually pay attention. Like, that's just this hunger, this drive, and it is kind of primitive. But just because I have that have that impulse doesn't mean that I'm an unobservant, closed-minded idiot at all. Like, I'm not like that at all. It's just I have this impulse, man, and sometimes I just can't handle it anymore, and I'm just like, I want them to die right now. I want to like freaking stomp their skulls in right now. Like I don't have the patience for all this shit. Like I don't have the patience to let it all play out and then just like, oh yeah, it'll sort itself out. Will it really though? I mean, how much has been sorted out of what has happened 20 years ago? How much of that has actually sorted out? How much of that has like, you know what, eventually justice happens? Oh really? So of all the things that were playing out 20 years ago, how much of those have actually met justice? You know, when you're gonna be honest and technical. Kind of thing. That's the idea of like, and that then it's all finished. Like then they can finally meet justice and we can get on beyond this. But guess what? It ain't happening. And anytime anybody steps up to the plate, it's just some weird shit happens and they just like, nope, doesn't happen again. Dude, I don't want to wait for fucking trials. I just want the people that are doing all this to be clearly identified, listed, and then just quickly assassinated. Just assassinated. Just fuck it. Fuck the justice system. Quick. They have to be dispatched. They have to be taken out. All of them. Quickly. Yeah, you can't expect that you're going to get the elite to go get a trial and go get the justice they deserve for what they have done when the justice system is those fucking elites. They are them. How can you expect to go to some elitist and then you're like, yeah, can we arrange for you to arrest yourself? Yeah, it doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work. How long is this gonna take before this sinks in with everyone? Right? And it's designed like they've all designed it. They all designed it in a way that people would have to go against all their
Rumble Studio is the answer to every show on the hour, every hour. And we started using
into their system to become one of them because they have natural less objections to the evils that you are required to do to become part of them. This is how they get away with it forever. They graft in all the people that could potentially stop them. They corrupt them, they make them one of them. And these people that do that, they're stuck. And they're not gonna go after it all. Like, I kind of thought that Trump, who was like clearly in the middle of all of it, and hopefully not going too far with all of it, with the Epstein stuff. I mean, people say, "Oh, is it pedo? He did all of it." I don't believe it. I don't really believe that that's really what he's been doing. But he's been in between it all, though. He could have, theoretically, anything that is a part of it seems to just not be able to stop it. And this is the big problem. And this is how I see, like, okay, so how do we make a massive amount of people overcome their good nature and instinct to do a final strike and finish all these fucking people off? How? Instinct to do a final and finish all these fucking people off. People, and they have to be listed and just like bang. Theoretically, right? Like, I don't see any other theoretical possibility. That means, like, it cannot even be conceivably possible to do it any other way at this point. I can't conceive of it. Because everything else, it just gets bogged down, and by the time you get success with whatever it is, a policy, a corrupted individual, by the time you're basically done it, it's been doubled. It's been replaced by 2 more things of the same. Every goddamn time. What's the point then? What is the point of trying to do it the right way when that keeps happening every goddamn time? Yeah, complicated stuff. And I mean, I'm dead serious, guys. I'm a theorist. This is what I do. I don't believe in protest anymore. I'm a theorist. This is what I do. Woohoo, thanks up. Nice. Yes. Appreciate it. Hope you like what I do. It is a solution talk. But I mean, I am a theorist because this is all coming from a guy that's basically barely leaving his house. Like I don't really join up with big groups of people. Like a big groups of people actually makes me really calm. I'm just theorizing here, and I take it very serious. Fight Club? I mean, that would be very fitting if it turns out I am actually the organizer of this giant thing, but I'm not. I'm compartmentalized and I don't even know that I am. I do seem to have a lot of inspiration for it. And publicly, because I mean, I don't even see the point in trying to do it secretly. I mean, the elite, the Epstein class elite, isn't doing it secretly. Why should I? Everything they do is exposed, and so everything that I say is technically justified. Careful to avoid doing that. But I do think that a mass assassination might be the only thing that can actually end this crap. But here's the problem. If that only would happen in like one country, well then the other countries will basically like become very worried and outraged and go after you. Like, so everybody that would have then participated in that one country would be fucked. They would get screwed by the other country. That there's enough people in place to do it. Right? Because if you like go at it too early, well then everybody that participates in that is literally like death warrant, literally. Like, that's what they'll do. They'll absolutely maximum punish, maximum shame, lie, twist, like invent an entire new label of terrorism. Like, they'll do maximum damage to that. So the only way it could work is if it would be simultaneous, like pretty countries. All of it. How do you know that there is enough people in place for some starting signal to engage, and then literally everybody does it everywhere? I don't know. What if you make to look like the libtards? That's interesting. We actually got something that somebody in the chat right now that's trying to think with me. That's what? Somebody's actually responding to what I say? What is this? I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know people could actually respond to something that I'm saying live, no less. Whoa, what is this thing? Almost haven't felt like this since 10 years ago. Nah, but pretty much last 6 years ago. But I mean, yeah, pretending that it's somebody else. So, like, trying to false flag it. Yeah, no. Doesn't work. Because the people that are gonna do it, they will inevitably be caught. Like, where are you gonna run? With all the electronics, all the digital age things everywhere, everybody that would engage in the assassination will absolutely all be caught. There's no way to escape it. So, yeah, when governments organize them, and that means organized, that means tons of people and lots of funds. And when they do it, it doesn't even work. People immediately see through it. Immediately. So why would you think that rebels would be able to get away doing that? This is... No deception. It can't work. It has to just be straightforward. Basically, for people, it will be like, yeah, I mean, God made me do it. I have to do it. I had to do it. There's no choice. Infiltrate Antifa? Dude. Bro. It doesn't work. You are basically part of the elite. They will know about you and they will recruit you. They will give you an offer you cannot refuse. The people that would do it wouldn't be capable. They wouldn't spiritually be freaking capable to even infiltrate like disgusting brown shirt groups like Antifa. They're not gonna be able to do that. Doesn't work. Like, you're thinking like like a government. Like we're a government. Like we can function like they do. Dude, it's all... They do this sort of shit because they are sociopaths. Because they are Epstein class. That's why they do this sort of thing. They can do that sort of thing because they're so damn dirty and corrupted spiritually. Right? So, yeah. Like, assassinate the Epstein class like this. Massively. You know who that group is? Gonna be shocked. Yeah, it's Muslims. I do not see any other group of people that is that widespread that could actually be like spiritually tasked to do something like this. Other than Muslims. And it doesn't mean all of them, absolutely not. Right? We've all been indoctrinated like, oh, they're so evil and they'll just kill their opponents in the jihad, and like, well, they might be able to just like get him. Right? And they are widespread. Does that mean that they... After they've done that, they're taking over. Now we're going to impose Sharia law. I don't think so. If they just not force shit on people here in the West, you might find that if... Let's just imagine that Muslims... Like actual Muslims, not the freaking trash that are just like using it as a liability shield just so they could rape children and shit in the West and rob people and attack old people and all that. But actual Muslims that are more serious, more spiritually developed, if they would like do this and like really like finish him off, I think that like the people in the West would find a lot of admiration for that, and it would make people become Muslim voluntarily. Like nobody will force them to do it. Nobody will be, you have to do this, or no, they will be like, bro, Muslims literally saved Europe. I want to be like that kind of thing. Like that will probably happen, and it will be strange. It will be kind of strange, but it will be mostly strange because we've just been so freaking top-down indoctrinated with left-right paradigm bullshit, right? The left, like, glorifying Muslims that are just disgusting criminals and not Muslim really, they're just using it as a liability shield. And like letting them just rape and everything, get away with it because they're a holy people and they can do no wrong. Even as they like get killed by them directly. Because they're insane and disgusting. Yeah, you have that side, and then you have the side, oh, they're all here to kill every Muslim. We have to get them all out. They're gonna just take over and like become dictators over us. And like both sides are wrong. Both sides are propaganda, left hand propaganda, right hand propaganda. Both show a malformed reality about what Muslims even are. And we've been programmed with that through media and alternative media for so long now. Like 25 years. And we've been subjected to that crap. Oh yeah, I've heard that. That was kind of interesting. Yeah, the Pope Leo, turning against Trump, basically sticking up for Lebanon, and Trump is like being a complete asshole. Well, he's been acting like a complete... Trump is like going really into this shithole. Recently, really bad, and it's like way back. He's probably gonna die soon, just from the energies alone. Like, I heard that the Pope, American Pope, is actually turning against Trump, which is great. But now Trump is like trying to push back, turning it into a feud, which is insane. I mean, if Trump assassinates the Ayatollah, a Pope of Islam, and now he's gonna go against the actual Pope of Catholicism, like, what's next? What other religious leaders could you gravely disrespect, offend, or even assassinate Trump? Like, what other? World religious leader going to mock. I was like, yeah, he's kind of like a bit of an unfortunate... SJW type figure. And like a lot of Catholicism, at least at the top, the Vatican are like that, unfortunately. There are a few right and and fuel populism. They're pretty based. But yeah, this current Pope was kind of like a bit of an SJW. And so I thought like, oh, he's going to be completely disgusting. But then Trump did his Darth Vader move, basically. Went completely the plaid. And yeah, the Pope is kind of turned against that. Which, I mean, you'd be crazy not to. Good for him that he's not just another Israel stooge. Like, that would be really shameful if the Pope was that. And I mean, good people, right? It's the lion. That's interesting. It's like, yeah, it's just like a sort of coincidence. But sometimes these things actually matter for the energies. Oh yeah, Trump blockade, Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, ridiculous. It's retarded. It's gonna blockade the blockade. But I mean, he's just... It's pathetic. Like, Trump, what he's doing is basically... He doesn't have any control over what's happening. So he's just like, okay, well, if I can't fix it, then I'm the one that's gonna ruin it. It's really very childish. And people know. They know you're being pathetically childish. Like, you have to be a complete full-fledged fucking retard to actually think that that means he's winning. You have to be like really like pain, gaping wound inside of your head to like, oh yeah, he's winning. You have to really be mentally damaged to be able to even think that. Because it's so pathetic what Trump does. It's so pathetic. So pointless. Trump, yeah, blockading the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, it's all retarded. And I guess it just America is just gonna let it happen. And it's gonna fuck them over really badly, and everybody's gonna be like, please, Trump, please stop it. No, Trump will not stop it. And if you ask him to please stop it, he will just call you a traitor. Yeah, that's how fucked up this is. It's gotta be forcefully removed. I don't think his cabinet's gonna do it. So it will have to be the military that does it. Gotta take Trump out of power. The quicker, the better. Don't take too long with this. Yeah. And I mean, oh, the other good things he's done, it's completely irrelevant. Yeah. And besides, everything that he's done that's been any good, he's just gonna reverse all of it anyway. The more time you leave him in power, the more of the good things he has done before the corrupting moment, he will undo. The longer you leave Trump in the presidential power, the more of the good things he has done, he will undo. Yeah, Mark? Cool. You want him to just undo everything? Then just let him do his thing then. Let him fuck everything up. We will have a completely devastated world economy. America will be the, besides Israel, the most loathed country in world history. You will never be able to recover. Ever. Like, nobody will ever give you a chance to recover. Because you're fucking retarded. Your government is insane and vile and evil, and you let them. You just let them. Too many boomers that are just saying, fuck it, I'm on board no matter what. No matter how vile and disgusting. And so everyone in the world now despises America because of those people that do that. That just go on board with the most vile, most insane, evil, corrupted government there ever was at this point. I mean, yeah. So the longer you leave him in power, the worse this is going to get, and America will never recover. I don't know what that means here. I appreciate the interaction here. Neku. Neku. He will. Like, he will. Trump will try to outdo Europe, the EU government, in vileness. He will be the one to and if you let Trump, he will. Trump will try to outdo Europe, the EU government, in vileness. He will be the one to turn America into the EU, into being like that, as corrupted as they are. He will turn it into it. He picks the worst things that are out there, and then he assimilates that into what he does. So the longer you leave him in power, the more you're all fucked. Better than it was yesterday. And I mean, I watched yesterday's show back. The recording was just fine. So, despite OBS just completely cutting off signal several times, it seems to be doing a little bit better. It's only cut out. Yeah, it hasn't cut out a single time. It completely cuts off. It goes to 0, but then it goes back. Yesterday, like 8 times, it just like said connection severed. Establishing a new connection. 8 times that happened, and still the show just worked in the replay. So yeah.
Free speech meets financial freedom with Rumble, a non-custodial crypto wallet where you're in control.
And still, the show just worked in the replay. So, yeah.
Free speech meets financial freedom with Rumble, a non-custodial crypto wallet where you're in control.
Okay, so yeah, what the fuck? Right, anyway, it was a question. If JD Vance would do better than Trump if he would replace him. And my answer was like a very distinct yes. But the main problem is that the US is going to be screwed no matter what because of what Trump did. There's a damage that's been done geopolitically and it cannot be undone. It just can't be undone. It doesn't matter what happens. Even if half the world will just blow up, it still would not be undone. Can't be undone. The US is gonna go through a rough patch, and it's gonna take at a minimum 20 years to recover from that, if ever. Right? Because as long as their frickin' Epstein class is still in control in the US, it will never overcome this situation, ever. It's gonna from that, if ever. So yeah, JD Vance would probably do better, but I mean, the US is pretty much fucked no matter what, no matter who's in control. The thing is, they can just make it even worse. And Trump, it does seem to be just making things even worse with every step. And that can still be stopped. And I'm back. Weird. I think maybe the guy deleted his account or something. What the fuck? Very strange. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Huh! Okay, well, the account that I was talking to has been deleted. The hell? Did he just like delete it himself? Why the hell did he do that? That's so strange. Bit hungry. Let's take a look. Alright. Or an internet in general through Linux. It's not super great. Like, especially if you just want to play videos like streams, want to watch streams, it's not working. Let's take a look. Or an internet in general through Linux. It's not super great. Like, especially if you just want to play videos like streams, want to watch streams, it's not working. Great. But
blood on the bags, ghosts in the seats. We remember everything. Feel the heat. Yeah, you forced this war, spilled the blood of our flowers. Now you sit at the table, hiding behind your powers. Heavy hearts, heads high.
yeah, pretty epic. Oh god, there's some Altard in the chat. The fuck? Oh, we got some Hitler obsessed individual in the chat here, who's apparently a frickin' baltard, which is incredibly embarrassing. I mean, you're gonna combine those two? That is just really stupid. Oh wait, no. I read it wrong. I thought, yeah. I mean, I thought it didn't make any sense. No, he is saying like, yeah, flat Earth. Okay, cool. Cool, Nazi guy. I know you guys are like, yeah, the Earth is flat. Yeah, I get it. They are. It is. Although, I mean, a lot of Nazi figures actually believe in like hollow Earth, which is also weird. And like part of their stories. It's weird. But North Pole Mysteries on Rumble. Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, I misread you. I thought that you were being altard, but you weren't. I didn't see. Yeah, the Earth is flat. And there is more terrain. That is like off the maps, north and south. I believe both north and south, and I don't think that the flat Earth is a disc. It's not disc oriented. Yeah, just because the celestial lights move in spherical fashion. I mean, they call it a celestial sphere for a good reason. But it's not disc oriented. Yeah, just because the celestial lights move north and south. Is a disc. It's not disc oriented. But it's not because the terrain is spherical or circular. I don't know why OBS gets like this. I do not know. Right, it's been reconnected though. And there's a ton of mystery still left in this realm, and a lot of misconceptions about what we're seeing. What we're perceiving, what we're looking at. What it means, the celestials present themselves to us do not reveal the shape of the terrain or the shape of the container, because they're holograms. All holograms. All the celestial light, including the sun. Yeah, and it's really intense, and it influxes all this light energy right, into the realm that definitely seems to have a direct connection with how life actually happens. But yeah, it's not a giant ball of fire at massive distance giving off heat and light like a lamp. It's just an intense angular manifestation that is just cyclical. It's part of the celestial landscape. And it's just lights, and they have no actual distance. You can't approach them. Angular size will not increase when you attempt to approach them. You can't reach any of it, right? And then there's this weird stuff where you go up high and then the blue sky turns black and there's no stars, right? Which make no sense. That makes no sense at all. If you're assuming that they are like light bulbs at a giant distance away, then there's no reason why you suddenly wouldn't see any stars. It makes no sense. It's never explained. It's never addressed. Oh, scattering. Yeah, but it's black. It's all black. Yeah. If you're gonna say, oh, the blue light is like kind of drowning it out, then it's like, yeah, fair enough. When you go up high, like the high altitude, unless a celestial sphere that it surrounds the observer, at an apparent, and it always stays that apparent distance. It just follows the cyclical patterns of the celestial sphere as it does, but none of it has an actual position. There's no point in Euclidean space where any of these celestial lights are literally centered. They're not in point. They just appear in spherical fashion around every light in one angular position in relation to your position, and another observer in another position will see that same celestial light at another angular position, and those angular positions shouldn't match up. Not literally. If you try to, then you end up with mostly a disk model assumption, right? As soon as you start to reify the celestial lights into being into an actual position in Euclidean space, you end up with presupposition-based models of the terrain, either disk or sphere, and it's just not right. Because you can't draw any conclusions about what the terrain is oriented like based on. You can notice that, hey, if you move north and south at a set amount of distance everywhere, then the apparent celestial sphere, its angle of the sphere, how it rotates around it, the axis of it will rotate consistently and will stay that way, right? That's how we have a map grid. It's based on how much the apparent celestial sphere, the axis of it, how much of the angle it changes over distance. That's literally the latitude grid. Yeah, but the celestial sphere does not prove what the terrain is. It's just like it rotates this much over that distance in that direction, and it's consistent in how that works, and that's how you can have an orienting thing in the sky, which is the celestial sphere. It's the orienter to know roughly where you are within the realm. That's how it's used. You know, it's the most basic form of it is knowing how much north or south you are in the realm. The angle of the axis of the celestial sphere will show you where you are, at what latitude, how far north, how far south you are. That's what you can like figure out with it. That's like the most direct thing you can figure out, right? Besides like, oh, the seasons, so like, oh, it's really warm here, I'm probably the equator. Well, you could be sure where you are. And I mean, the people that have, they already know my positions with this. I've been talking about these specific technical subjects for a very long time, for like over a decade. Now for a decade. And I have very specific positions, and I have explained it a lot. It's just, if you want to know more about it, then you have to like talk to me about it. Because when like almost nobody shows up in the chat or asks anything about it, like, then why would I bring it up? It's not like I just like talking. To the air about these things. I'm not in love with these concepts. I'm not just gonna start talking about the celestial sphere and what it means to some random person. I don't do that sort of thing. Like, be very disorienting that, so they'd just be like, what? Sounds weird. And they wouldn't really get it. Or they'd just get confused. And I mean, it is confusing. It is confusing that celestial lights are holograms. But we've been given such a specific physicality assumption bias based view of what these lights are. They're all supposed to be actual burning balls of fire at actual distances in space. That's what they told us on how to think of it, and a lot of people have a lot of trouble like stepping away from that view of it because it's the only view they ever had about it. Right? And then the flat earthers came along and they gave some alternative, like, no, they're just little lights hanging on the ceiling. And that's what they then said about it, and that's incorrect. Because that's also the reification of an actual position of the lights, which they do not have. They have no actual position. They're holograms. They're not light bulbs of any sort hanging in an exact position in Euclidean space. They're just not. They're only apparent, they're only angular. You can't approach them. The angular size does not change depending on if you try to approach or get away from them. They're just visible at an angle. The angle where you see them is consistent. And that's it. You can't really even figure out like how they are manifesting. Like, where is it coming from? If it's a hologram, how is it being generated? I don't know. And people will keep coming back like, oh, here's Arwen with this hologram. Where's the projector, Arwen? Where's the projector? I don't fucking know where the projector is, okay? So you could just, like, ask me another dozen of time every year for the next decade. And in a decade, I'm still not gonna know how the hell it is being projected, yeah? I was never really concerned with knowing how it is being projected. Just that what it is, what the observation is, and to be honest about the available data of it, which is exclusively angular. Yeah, there's lumen intensity, light spectrum, and the angle. That's it. That available measured data of the celestials. There's no position, no actual position that can be proven. There just isn't. It's not there.
rediscover trust with no vendor lock-in, no hidden fees.
Starting to get closer. Starting to get closer. By name. Like happy making times. It would literally make 1984 look like a happy making time. So don't